Troy, I am from Jamaica and I am praying for you. Coming the 30th. I don't know if they go march in Jamaica, but if they go march, I'm gonna march. But if they're not gonna march, I'm gonna spend the whole day on my knees, praying, begging God to cover you, begging Yahshua, the Holy Spirit, to cover you from the plan of these enemies. When I was small, I remember Gaddafi, but I never felt it that much. Because at the end of the day, he was living in luxury. But you're not living in luxury. You are for the people. You are for the people. And I'm going to go on my knees. And I'm going to pray you up, young man, in covering. Stay covered in Jesus' name.
Dear Jamaica.
President Troy, I am from Jamaica. And I am praying for you. Coming the 30th. I don't know if they go march in Jamaica, but if they go march, I'm gonna march. But if they're not gonna march, I'm gonna spend the whole day on my knees, praying, begging God to cover you, begging Yahshua, the Holy Spirit, to cover you from the plan of these enemies. When I was small, I remember Gaddafi, but I never felt it that much. Because at the end of the day, he was living in luxury. But you're not living in luxury. You are for the people. You are for the people. And I'm going to go on my knees. And I'm going to pray you up, young man, in covering. Stay covered in Jesus' name. President Troy, I am from Jamaica. And I am praying for you. Coming the 30th. I don't know if they go march in Jamaica, but if they go march, I'm going to march. But if they're not going to march, I'm going to spend the whole day on my knees, praying, begging God to cover you, begging Yahshua, the Holy Spirit, to cover you from the plan of these enemies. When I was small, I remember Gaddafi, but I never felt it that much. Because at the end of the day, he was living in luxury. But you're not living in luxury. You are for the people. You are for the people. And I'm going to go on my knees. And I'm going to pray you up, young man, in covering. Stay covered in Jesus' name. President Troy, I am from Jamaica.
If you support President Traore today, make sure that you guys go and put hashtag in the comment section. Support Ibrahim. You probably don't see the name is right there on the screen. President Traore. Put support President Traore in the comment section if you support Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. Alright, the West wants to seek to eliminate him. He's standing for his people, his resources, and their future. Their kids' future, their grandkids' future, what is best for his country. And I personally stand in solidarity with Ibrahim Traore. This platform personally stands in solidarity with Ibrahim Traore. Alright. He's not doing anything wrong. He's doing what is right for his people. Protecting his resources. I'm actually live, you know. You hear me? I'm live. Yeah. Alright. So yeah. But just before we start the show.
Under the mic, together my husband and I are steering Portland. I am
fully done.
Under the Michael, under the Andrew Holness led administration.
Fully done.
Hold on. That maths don't sound right. If you get $100 million, you take 100% and get the PNP 50.
Get half of it.
No, that's not no. Something
that's what he was doing.
No, but you can't have 150% or something, sir.
Fully done.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Arithmetic not right. You get $10. You get
all right.
$10.
Let me break it.
So you get $10. for spend, right?
And
Total.
the PNP get $5.
Fully done.
All right, my workers, me couldn't go and a big one up.
Fully done.
To the
That is funny, honey. That's funny. Oh my God, that is funny.
Hey, top of the morning, what's going on, Sassy D? My God, at first, hey, I second time I hear that one there with the brother will say 100%. At first, me I put a face to it. These are the people that them having office and leadership. That man is a mayor for the JLP. Mighty God. Ladies and gentlemen, this has to stop. But anyway, that's not why we're here. Just a little comedy to spruce up the show. But I have so much that I need to cover. April 29th was a historic day in Jamaica. Many stands was taken, many different positions. The PMP had a conference, had a public publication standing for the teachers. The JFJ was standing for all Jamaicans rights, human rights, constitutional rights. There was a lot going on. But before we go to that day, let's go back a little. Alright, let's go back a little. So this was the JFJ representative, the executive director. What's her name? Michael Jackson, Miss Michael Jackson. Why her parents they name her Michael Jackson? You know some of that fight? Them don't nice. Them fi stop it. What kind of Michael business you not call it the lady? Come like then they want one son. What can go so? Anyway, when you hear this, this was an Andre show.
The police said there was a time of death for the incident. But the family released footage that suggested otherwise. Remember, this was the footage that showed the young man kneeling down, hands behind his head, seemingly compliant. Then it seems like you hear some gunshot. Look back on Windward Road situation now. Last year, November. The police said shootout, weapons were found at the scene. Only to hear a few days after CCTV footage saying something else, that the three men were allegedly executed
by the police.
And then weapons were planted at the scene. So those were the charges that were laid against the officers: perverting the course of justice, planting weapons, and murder. The point that I'm making is the camera and the footage would help in advancing the investigation and give an independent account. And the caution I want to have to listeners: we're too quick to label people as criminals without care. And the people we're labeling as criminals are poor Jamaican citizens.
Repeat that, Mikkel.
The people we're labeling as criminals are poor Jamaican citizens. And without more, we are too quick to label people as criminals.
People don't agree. If you don't agree with our type, agree. We're too quick to label people as criminals. You don't agree? Type agree, no man.
It's something we have to look within. Not because somebody come from an inner city area. Once there is conflict with the police, them are criminal and so on. And let me be frank as well, as I speak responsibly. Even if someone were guilty of a crime,
due process.
That is why we have the courts.
Due process.
Due process is important. Section 16 of the Constitution outlines all of that. So in other words, somebody may be perhaps even guilty, of murder and so on. But if in that moment the police goes to arrest them, if that person is not shooting at the police, if they don't have a weapon where the police has a reasonable belief that they may fire or harm the police or another citizen, there is no justification, which is why the use of force policy is very clear, why the law is very clear in how lethal encounters are to be dealt with. The law is very clear on that. The use of force that guide the police is very clear on that. And I want to probe our consciousness when we think about these matters. I believe on your program a few nights ago, you were talking about the Glengoff police station matter with the 15-year-old.
Yes.
We are going before the courts tomorrow to represent the child.
Imagine what it feels like to finally break free from the matrix.
So you're going front. Wait. You are going in front of the court for the 15-year-old tomorrow to represent the child. Let us.
So, I can't speak much on it. But let me say this.
And have you seen the incident of how the police dealt with the senior citizen in Clarendon?
Yes, I saw that one as well. So let me say this to Jamaicans before we start going into some of the numbers and so on, Andre.
Yes.
When you can have people on social media saying a 15-year-old must be a criminal,
wow.
It must be something wrong. He must comply. We have to again start raising our consciousness. Why are we so quick to say that this 15-year-old is a criminal? Let's raise our consciousness and our knowledge and of our rights. So, for example, police see you, Andre, driving your car. They can't just pull you over and say, yo, let me search you, or Mr. Stevens, let me search your vehicle. No. There is a concept called reasonable suspicion in law.
Yes.
So, therefore, if you're driving a grey Toyota, it must be because the police has intelligence to say a grey Toyota was involved in something.
Yes.
Or you were acting in a way that kind of shaky and suspicious. So based on your behavior, there is something to suggest that maybe you are doing something unlawfully. Or as the law says, you have committed a crime, the police see you committing a crime, or they have a reasonable suspicion to suspect that you will be committing a crime. So they may peep in your car and see something that they may raise a question. I wonder if it's weapon that. Mr. Stephen, please exit the vehicle so I can search it. The legal threshold is clear. So when we have a case where a 15-year-old is walking with 3 young females, the question I ask, what was a reasonable suspicion for that child to be asked to be searched in the first place?
True.
The child complied, right? And then you say the child apparently allegedly made some comments. Again, I have to be very careful because I have to balance the advocacy with
the law.
Yes. But the child allegedly made some comments. The police didn't find favor with those comments. And from what we have been told by the family and based on witness accounts, it seemed as if the police was offended by what the child said.
That's like police.
Yes, and some other comments allegedly, right? And then one of the things we see emerging, Andrea and listeners, when you make utterances, we see a pattern now of retaliatory charges. In other words, the child has been charged with resisting arrest, using indecent language, use of abusive and calumnious language. That's the bad word law that we need to get rid of. Remember, in finger matter.
Yes.
Let's go back to Peter Johnson, the taxi driver on Nutsford Boulevard. He was trying to escape getting a ticket. Shouldn't have done that. Take a ticket and go to court. But he was trying to escape that. The police shot him in his leg.
In his leg.
And of one
court, was there. My right hand was there.
Yes.
Man that day.
That man has been charged for attempted murder.
Attempted murder.
We are representing that matter as well before the courts, which is why I have to be cautious sometimes, Andre. So sometimes when they say, where is JFJ? JFJ is there. But we have...
What can go so?
Yo, me not even want...
What can go so?
Me don't really want to stop this, but you hear them something here? What go on with the citizens of Jamaica? It could be you. So we need to know, alright? So don't listen up, people.
Have to be minded when we speak and how we speak. I think we can do better with our communications. At the very least, for example, to say we are representing the matter, but we can't speak more on it. So at least the public.
So you would agree therefore that there has been some shortcomings there. Public advocacy.
I love Saturday.
Well, the communications. Specific matters. Because let me say this: if there was shortcoming to the degree, we would not be having this discussion tonight.
True.
Because if you can draw the error of a senator, and it's not the first, we've gotten an
people, Sassy has a sermon. She has been triggered. She doesn't like to speak, but she is And this is Sassy called me. I must know. People, it's serious. It's serious. Yes, Sassy, you're live. Go ahead.
I have a question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my question is this. These police officer, okay, you remember the video, the time when they went to get a guy and the father stepped in and he was an officer of the law?
Oh yeah, that whole video that Andre played, right?
So tell me something now. If the father didn't step in and prevented them from taking his son away, right? They would have basically took him, like gone with him and did whatever they wanted to do.
The possibilities are endless.
So then tell me something then. So that is it that I'm trying to understand if that means whatever they came for him for just disappear, or he actually didn't do anything, so they're just randomly going into people's house trying to get people.
Well, in that situation, you know, the context of it is the young man came, opened the gate, looked out, and went back in. And the police, in their infinite wisdom, thought that...
But it was a gang member or something going on.
No, it was suspicious that somebody came out of their house, looked out, and went back in. A young man, a teenager. I don't know.
So he thought something was going on.
I don't know how they deduced that from the situation. To me, it sounds ridiculous. But somebody is in their own home, opens the gate, looks out, and goes back in. What are you doing? Why are you in their house? Why are you in their... it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It doesn't.
Because I was also listening to, what's his name there last night, and a police officer called in. This is who I'm referring to is Jamaica, what do you call him? Hot Topic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a policeman calling and was saying, I guess he left Jamaica from the sound of it. He's not there no more. Because they were setting him up constantly in every aspect of his life. Being in Jamaica as an officer, they constantly kept on trying to find things to stick on him. And him and his partner, and they even one point they lock him up. Like, I can't go through the whole thing of it because you have a show going on, but if you listen to it eventually, where he was, or I can find it and send it to you, a lot of police are targeted because they're not doing what the other officers want them to do, like stealing and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of targeting going on and a lot of wiki going on, and I'm just trying to say none of this is making sense to me. And it's right to bring out these people because something has to step in and try to, break barrier to the madness.
Yeah, we have to raise awareness and teach people their rights in their own.
It's not only scary no more. I don't want my family members as a male coming there and then mistaking him for a gangster or somebody
just because
that
of
might
how
look
they
like
dress
a
or
gangster.
something. Yeah,
it's scary as someone who want to come there and visit it as a black woman or black family or whatever. This is crazy. It can't go on.
It's true. You're absolutely right.
All right, thanks, Bolo. Later.
All right, yeah, man. Shout out to Sassy D, man. Appreciate the contribution. It's tough, man. It's tough. Let's continue.
Entire video production from another senator are coming to the degree we would not be having this discussion tonight.
True.
Because if you can draw the error of a senator, and it's not the first, we've gotten an entire video production from another senator before. So we have been doing well for the small staff that we have. And remember,
how many members make up your staff complement?
Less than 20.
Less than?
We have volunteers and so on that work with us. Not all of them. So like senior lawyers will give us advice on matters, go before the court. So we do have a network. But in terms of the day-to-day manager of the organization, you see why it must be easy on us?
No, ladies and gentlemen, they are severely understaffed. They are severely understaffed. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Persons, Mickey.
Look at Andre face.
Probably you need to hire me then as your PR consultant.
They need to.
Get the advocacy out there because...
But you're helping because earlier you said you stand with JFJ and we do welcome that.
This platform stands with Jamaicans with justice as well. Big facts.
And I can't see the comments in the chat, but my mom is watching and she's saying that your students are quite supportive of what is happening now.
Where we are right now, Michael, Jamaicans for Justice is saying tomorrow that you're standing publicly against. Can you tell Jamaica tonight?
But let me be clear. We have never been anti-police. We can't be. You need law enforcement officers to execute their duties when they are doing it lawfully. And that is the important point. So this
all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
I'm so happy she made that clear now because there's a narrative out there about the JFJ It's like they're against the police or something. Nonsense. And I've made it clear on my platform as well. We need the police. What we don't need is corrupt police.
This is not an anti-police protest. This is a pro-human rights, pro-accountability protest. The numbers that we have been seeing for the past few years, they are alarming. The lowest numbers of police fatal shootings we saw was in 2019 when it dipped to 86. 2020 there was an increase, I believe, to 115. 2021 it rose. Then 2022 about 127, then 134, then 155, then 189. Let's look at the trajectory of where we are. 106 Jamaicans killed. Remember last year it was 189, you know. 106 Jamaicans killed. Ask yourself where we are today. Today is what? April 28. So when you do a comparison with the corresponding period, that is about 150%. I'm speaking from memory now.
Yes.
150, you know. And remember, every year for the past 5 years, you've been seeing an increase. Yet there is a 150% increase on average compared to last year.
Now, if we are to actually do a simple analysis, all you have to do is multiply the figure of 106 by 3. We're looking at over 300 persons on average is going to be unalived by the police in Jamaica this year if something is not done dramatically to prosecute the ones that need to be prosecuted. Yes, because if they are supported by the government, there's no deterrent. You understand? So it's serious, man. It's serious.
People criticize us and say, don't focus on the numbers. But why is it important to focus on the numbers, Andrea and listeners? Numbers tell a story.
Yes, it does.
Right? So we have never said that these killings are extrajudicial. Because remember, the matters don't go before court yet. You don't have the videos for all of them. So we have never said that.
Well, I can tell you the one with the little Riley tonight.
It's also a question. It's concerning. It's outrageous, as a matter of fact. So the question we have to ask ourselves now, if we look at our small size,
yes,
and we have this high number per capita, you know, population size is important. And if at the end of the year, if we follow the trajectory of where we're going, Jamaica may see over 300 at the end of the year. You know, the last time we were at that number, 2010, where we had over 300. And remember, we haven't finished tallying Tivoli in Persian. That is what pushed it to about over 360. And the numbers have not yet been finalized.
That is serious. You're telling me that the Tivoli thing not finished yet, like them don't know? That's crazy.
To put that again in our consciousness. Right? And then we talk about the numbers now and so on. Let's look at some of the individual cases. Remember, I called some names earlier, you know.
Yes.
The Winford shooting is among the 2024 incident.
Yes.
3 young men killed. It's because of CCTV, why we know that was blatant extrajudicial and the matter has gone before the court. Romario Sterling, we still don't have a ruling as yet from Indicom. But the CCTV camera footage is there from the family for us to say, hold on there. Was this an extrajudicial killing? We have to be thinking about these things and ask ourselves, if General Road was so blatant in what happened, and you have shown this video tonight, how many of such cases
like up the live and share up the live, people. We live, like up the live and share up the live, please.
TV cameras.
You're following me?
But you mentioned just now about Indicom.
Yes.
How effective is Indicom in all of this? Many would argue that ever since Terence Williams has left Indicom, Indicom has become...
Did you know that ginger can help with...
Question, a good question, you know.
Ineffective. But how effective is Indicom in all of this? Many would argue that ever since Terence Williams has left Indicom, Indicom has become ineffective. What's your take on Indicom today?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. You see, different people do advocacy differently. I want you to read the reports of Indicom, Andre. The information is there, and you have seen Hugh Faulkner out there calling for the body-worn cameras, but you can appreciate, again, Hugh Faulkner is different from Terence Williams.
So different style, different leadership.
Exactly. But the information in Indicom's report is what we are using to do the public advocacy here at JFJ. That is the same information now, you know. But you wouldn't necessarily see Mr. Faulkner speaking like I do or like you would, because, again, different people advocate differently. And sometimes they can appreciate that state agencies, they have to choose their words carefully how they speak when they speak and so on. So there's that little nuance. But the Indicom reports, the information is in it, where I also urge media practitioners that we have to do a little bit more reading, because let me tell you why I say that.
The media practitioners who carrying the narrative of shooting and gauge, and when them done them say gun and all of those things.
Which is why we have to challenge them, which is part of the things that we do. We urge some media practitioners and media houses, be careful. So, because you may be carrying a particular message unintentionally. So, for example, when the police, when there's a police fatal shooting, if in that moment the person wasn't found with a weapon, or even if there's allegations, you have to use the word alleged done. You can't come and make a pronouncement that the man is a done or the man is a murderer, because that's not been adjudicated before the court. So
just as how
media reporting is important.
Just as how the one on Reddit's Road, them say did done. Them never say alleged done, Them say
some media houses did and others didn't.
Can you produce a playback that from, I hope you have it from Friday, how they went? I want Miss Jackson tonight to see what happened. I got a footage of what happened on Reddit's Road. I hope the producer have it, can play it. But in the interim, Miss Jackson, it is too much.
And the same day that incident happened, we got a call from citizens in the community. Why am I flagging that? Jamaica Gleaner wrote an article. Was it this morning?
No, that situation that when them just talk about significant. Wow. Them label the people them as criminal in their report. Them not say alleged. You don't really hear them say alleged. You understand me, David? And from both ends them do it. Them say they done for years, so them not says no. A lot of the times them do it, A lot of the times them do it. Right.
And what is in that article is the same account that we got. That the person who was killed, he allegedly had the baby in his hand. I don't know if that is the case. When he was shot and the baby fell to the ground. That's the allegation. No, that is a serious allegation for the citizens to be making. So how would the body-worn camera help there? If the police had on the body-worn camera and the citizen made such a statement, the release of the body-worn camera would exonerate that officer right away. There would be no contention between what the citizens are saying and what the officers are saying, because the body-worn camera would readily and easily address the matter. You can read the Gleaner, the Gleaner article on it. It was a similar statement that we got. And once we get different witness reports, then we can speak definitively on where we stand with supporting the family. But for now, just letting you know that this was another complaint that we got the same day the incident happened.
Wow.
Producer, you have it? I want Jamaica to hear. It was one shot fired, Mikkel. One shot fired. And
look on this.
One shot of fire. 100 million turn up again.
Hey, stop it!
Now the phone and push this a lot of those, it look like.
In bed?
Must let my people are balling, man.
Oh God. What's your name? What's your pain in the room?
And kill him to us. And kill him. Oh Lord. You know long they might come? You know long police are come? And then finally kill him now. Oh God. You did. I think you did. Clean him get together. Clean. Oh Lord have mercy. This wicked. Really kill him? Them shot him up. Really kill him? Yeah, go over, but them shot him up. Oh God have mercy, God.
Why Saturday? I don't know if it's a political area or why not. I don't know.
Yeah, long time. I just know.
One shot alone. Just one shot. Well, it would be interesting to see what the police report says in that instance. There was a confrontation with the police, and he was shot and killed. I mean, I don't know. What reports about that?
You heard when the person say, "Run, go take up the baby."
I didn't hear that one, but that was one of the things that we were told by those who made the reports. And that is something we need to think of. Where was the baby actually? Was the baby in the hands of the gentleman when he was shot? I'm hoping that that is not the case, because that would be far too alarming for us to even contemplate. But you see, Andrea, we're watching the video, and what is important, we don't know when the video started being recorded. And that is why we need a body-worn camera.
The camera.
Because at least, and I hear the comments to say that, and they're nonsensical comments, that because of the type of engagement that is happening, the police will be moving up and down, and then the footage will be shaking. It's nonsense. Let me tell you why it's nonsense. Even if it shake up during the incident, you have audio.
Yes.
You can listen. But what is important, you will know what happened before the incident happened,
yes,
and what happened after. So it paints a fulsome picture. But what we're relying now is amateur video footage, and then what it leads to is speculation, because say in some instances the police was justified in that lethal shooting. Because of what has emerged, it reduces public trust in the JCF.
True.
The body-worn camera also protect the officers. Remember the incident down by St. Mary? We got anonymous video footage as well. We forward them to Indicom. That was the one a few weeks ago.
Where they were at the 9-9?
Yeah, it was 9-9, some event down there. And there was a police fatal shooting. We got video footage. It wasn't clear, but the residents said this is enough to have scrutiny raised about the circumstance of that shooting. And the point that we're making is, had body-worn camera been present, it would exonerate our lawful officers. And the unlawful ones now, it would be enough to take the matters to court. Let me plug something for you, Andre, for us to contemplate. Why am I emphasizing timeline now? Go back to the 2024 incident. 189 shootings happened. When you start talking or looking through the reports, only one of those incidents that occurred in 2024 had charges being laid, and that was the Windward Road incident.
Wait. One of the 189.
Yes. Had charges been recommended, played by Indicom, and then charges actually were laid.
Emotional, damn it.
1 out of 189.
1 out of 189.
No, 1 out of 189. How are you doing, Miss Genesis? That is insane.
Was the one where there was a video footage.
Absolutely. So put in context now. Indicom had...
Oh, it's only the one that had video footage. So can we safely say that if you don't have video footage, these guys will not be held accountable? That's the reason why the call for body-worn cameras is essential. Ladies and gentlemen, all Jamaicans should stand in solidarity for this call. And this call should not end because the protest ended yesterday. Use your social media. Use your social media. All of you have a personal social media. Let your voices be heard on your TikTok and everywhere.
So we're seeing increased charges being laid, because 2024 it had a total of 24 charges being recommended for charges to be laid. 24. But only one of that 24 was from 2024. The other 23 were from 2020, 2021, 2022. Why am I saying that? 2023 as well. It suggests that without the body-worn camera or any camera footage, it means that we have to rely on ballistics. We have to rely on witnesses.
Yes.
And then let's look at the backlog of the forensic unit. So the families have to be waiting a year or so on before you get enough evidence to put forward a charge against the officer or for the officer to be exonerated. Also put in context, when you go back to Terran Hewitt now, you say we're calling the name so we can appreciate that these are people. Go back to Terran Hewitt. That was the one that the person was shot down by Kingston. I can't remember the street. But in one of those areas where he had SOE and he moved the barrier.
Yes.
And the JDF officer shot him. There were children close by because there's a basic school. The residents complained that before Indicom could even reach on the scene, the blood and so on started being washed away.
Mighty God.
Ball out! Whoa, we need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief.
reach on the scene because there's the barrier.
Yes.
And the JDF officer shot him. There were children close by because there's a basic school.
Mm-hmm.
The residents complained that before Indicom could even reach on the scene,
yes,
the blood and so on started being washed away.
Mighty God.
There have been allegations. Again, how do we safeguard the crime scene so that by the time Indicom arrives, there is enough to say that, you know, we can really do what we're doing in terms of an investigation process.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind as well, we have witnesses. If to come to our protest tomorrow, some say when we come tomorrow, we won't let anybody know that we're here.
Mighty God. People
because they're fearful. And that is something for the JCF to also examine. Again, this is not an anti-JCF commentary. I want to be very clear, but it's something again for us to put in our consciousness so we can see the systemic gaps that often prevent and hinders Indicom's ability to even make a recommendation for charges to be laid. You hear me mention the Terran Hewitt case?
Yes.
Indicom actually made a recommendation for the charges to be laid to the director of the public prosecution. Because remember, you know, the police federation took Indicom to court. Yes. That's how their ability to prosecute and put forward charges were stripped from them.
Mm-hmm.
So they made a recommendation for Terran Hewitt to the DPP because the DPP would now rule whether enough evidence is there for charges.
So what happened? What happened in that case?
DPP recommended that the matter instead go to the special coroner's court.
What?
Your father died. And
yo, me say the DPP have some things to answer for you, see? When she retire, mighty God. No, sir. All right, my general.
So my wisdom warrior.
Big up to Atta for the press. You know what I mean? I'm glad she get clip up the part and you want to react to it. So I want to know what you think in the comment section about that, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to like up the live. Understand? Like up the, you know, like and share. You get me? I say let's get to 20k subs. And please increase the viewership by hitting the like button and sharing the live. Because the videos them really and truly should be getting more traction than they are getting, honestly. Even my live streams. I am grateful for who is here, but I know for a fact that my numbers are being suppressed. Honestly. I mean, even when nobody else is live, it's like my audience just is not getting the notifications. And as a content creator, it is frustrating, honestly, but we still champion on and put out the message the same way. And salute to the people that actually donate. Remember that the donation link is pinned at the top of the comment section. And if you're hardly easy to, the Cash App is open, the PayPal is open, and also the said information is there. Alright, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's see. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fitz Jackson was creating quite a stir in Parliament yesterday, and rightfully so. Let's hear this.
Taking this
liberty, where prosperity is not stolen by the corrupt, but let us put Jamaica first. So every citizen can say, with pride, choose Jamaica. Jamaica nice. Choose a corrupt-free Jamaica. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the other subject of Portmore. Mr. Speaker, Portmore is a community with its people at the center. Much has been said about Portmore over the last 18 months or so, and particularly over the last 5 months. Portmore as a community has been around for well over 60 years. Most persons who have been away from Portmore for anywhere close to 20 years. Upon their return, they are amazed at what has taken place over the period. With all the transformation that we can see, much more is to be done in continuing the efforts to make Portmore a better place in fulfilling Jamaica's 2030 vision. Jamaica, the place of choice to work, live, raise families, and do business. And of course, to enjoy more and better sunshine than any other part of Jamaica. Should clap for that. Yes, we have the best sunshine in Jamaica at Portmore. Mr. Speaker, the people of Portmore find themselves there for many different reasons. Being there, they have decided to do their part to make it the best it can be with the resources that become available as we go along and go forward. In the process, they have mobilized their collective wisdom to improve the space they are and the governance arrangements that they have inherited. In much the same way, Mr. Speaker, that our forefathers were uprooted from Africa against their will, the governance arrangement and structure that they have fashioned, is being dismantled by this JLP government by a partisan and self-serving bait and trick ploy that they will be much better off if they are no longer part of St. Catherine, but a parish of their own. What cheap tricks and insults being inflicted on the residents of Portmore. In other words, the JLP government is saying to Portmore residents, your future development can only happen if your municipality becomes a parish. If this insulting argument should hold any merit, then many other growing communities across Jamaica, such as Maypen, Linstead, Negril, Santa Cruz, and the list can go on and on, should become parishes. Because you need parish to be developed. Oh, that logic flow. As the government dishonestly argues that the reason for making Portmore a parish is for its development, the questions being asked for which no credible answers are forthcoming. They ask the question, Mr. Speaker, will becoming a parish cause the roads to be fixed and maintained? Will becoming a parish cause more reliable water supplies? Will becoming a parish cause the communities to be more secure than they are now? Will becoming a parish cause the sewage treatment plant in Greater Portmore to be maintained and the perpetual stench from the pond's end? Will becoming a parish cause us not to have any or less mosquitoes? Will becoming a parish cause less traffic congestion all over Portmore? And the $1 million question being asked is, if becoming a parish will...
Man can't get crushed, people.
I'm following the directive of the Speaker. I should state a specific time. You're asking for 20 minutes? 15. Mr. Speaker, I ask that the member be given an additional 15 minutes to complete his presentation.
Yeah, 15 minutes, I agree. 5-0 here.
Question is that the member be allowed an additional 15 minutes to complete his presentation. Those in favor? The ayes have it.
15 minutes.
And Madam Speaker, the $1 million question being asked is, if becoming a parish will solve all these problems, why are all the many places across Jamaica that are already in parishes for decades still having many more pressing problems than those in Portmore? As Damien would say, what can go so? As Damien would say, what can go so? But alas, the real intent was revealed most boastfully by no other than the former senior member of the Prime Minister's Cabinet, the member from Southwest St. Catherine and senior officer of the JLP. He spilled the beans. He told the country this: they will make Portmore into a parish, cut away from the rest of St. Catherine with the boundaries that they want. And after then, they will take control of St. Catherine municipality, create a safe seat for the JLP in Portmore that they will never lose. It is of note that the political boundaries stipulated by that member for achieving those goals are exactly what is provided in the Counties and Parish Boundary Act, which they rammed down through the Parliament. If this is not the most classical demonstration of gerrymandering.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Then the most, which they ram down through the parliament. If this is not the most classical demonstration of gerrymandering, then the...
Hold them, Uncle Fitz, hold them. Why he can't get crushed? Watch him. He can't sit down. Watch Hamilton. I want to go on Juliet. Oh, Juliet's a doll up. I want to go on.
But the issue is, he's saying what else in a political platform. Why don't you tell the country broke his son on when she defend his mother?
Sit down, you old cruff. Sit down, you old barking dog. You Andrew call people dog. I want dog like you. Sit down. Boy, you ejaculate pan people foot allegedly. Sit down.
Member from St. Catherine Southwest. Member from St. Catherine Southwest. Your mic was off, but I could hear you clearly. That's most inappropriate. That's not a point of order.
Are you, Madam Speaker? Are you asking me to withdraw it?
We don't want more abuse there from you.
Are you asking me to withdraw it?
Yes, member.
No. If he can put them on the lying, can you withdraw it? I'm speaking facts. So I can't withdraw facts.
Member from St. Catherine. Member from St. Catherine Southwest. That is not a point of order. Member from St. Catherine Southwest. That's not a point of order.
Hey, boy. Hold them.
Madam Speaker, in the normal...
Please allow the member from St. Catherine Southern to speak.
This is a waste of time asking for that.
Go ahead, member.
Waste of time. I will continue from where I left off. Madam, may I be permitted to speak in some silence?
No decorum, no integrity.
The member from St. Catherine Southwest.
Watch him a ball out. Hit dog holla.
Catherine Southwest, please.
They can't control him, you know. I am run parliament. Watch her. Orange Changa get up.
The member from St. Catherine Southwest.
Watch her.
This is the last time you'll be spoken to, sir.
Then now nobody can take him out of parliament. Then no security.
My wisdom warriors.
Our Jamaica, we have both. We have a security problem and we have a high murder problem. Mr. Speaker, the next People's National Party administration will pursue achieving both continued and accelerated murder reductions and increased security of our people.
Hear this?
In their homes, on the streets, and in their communities. Nothing less can ever be deemed a success. In recent times, we hear this JLP administration's seeming sudden pivot, where they now profess support for social programs. This rings hollow. And there is indeed a synergy between hollow and ring. The PNP and the country have a very reasonable basis for skepticism. This is the same JLP government that, upon taking office in 2016, discontinued or defunded every flagship social intervention initiative inherited from the PNP. Did the Unite for Change initiative, the Citizen Security and Justice Program, the Peace Management Initiative. The government of Prime Minister Holness spent years dismissing such programs as ineffective. Now, with elections looming, the JLP seemed to adopt the PNP's proven model of combining targeting policing with social investment. While we welcome this pivot, let's be clear, This is not leadership. It is opportunism. And worse, they are poor copycats. Them take Jamaican people for fool.
Dark truth, Mr. Fitz.
No party or government should ever insult the intelligence and wisdom of our people.
Right.
And be allowed to get away with it.
Yes.
We are reminded of the words of the great Peter Tosh. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. That fooling time done, people's time come now.
Make them know, my boss. Make them know.
Institution. No one is denying that Jamaica's crime problem, but we demand accountability.
Where's Sir Robert? A passionate love for corruption. Not true. I saw them stay, man.
And public safety to go hand in hand. The JCF, while striving to serve and protect, must respect the rule of law. In order for us to begin to address crime seriously, citizens and the state need to work hand in hand. This cannot be achieved if there is a low level of trust between citizens and the JCF. What we need is a fully competent, motivated, and resourced team. The next PNP government will accelerate the use of body-worn cameras by members of the JCF. Body-worn cameras protect both civilians and officers. If we can justify their use in low-risk situations abroad, we must demand them here, where the risks are life and death.
Oh, you mean?
Body-worn cameras are essential to show whether the force used was justified, as well as to protect both lives and truth. The inconsistencies revealed through body-worn camera footage in countless instances underscore how vital these tools are, not only for ensuring accountability, but also for protecting the integrity of the justice system. Justice cannot be reduced to hollow rhetoric. It demands concrete, unwavering action. We assure, Mr. Speaker, every Jamaican that any practice of the police that seeks to undermine respect and all that we expect in a free and democratic society will not go unattended. After all, it is the trust and collaboration between the security authorities, inclusive of MOCA and the JDF and others, that is imperative and indispensable in achieving a sustainable, safe, and secure Jamaica. I mentioned earlier the need for a motivated membership of the JCF and others. We note the welcomed increase in the enlistment in the complement of the JCF recently. It has been a long road to get to that level of enlistment. We are also aware that while enlistment has been a challenge, retention was perhaps a greater challenge. In this regard, the next People's National Party administration will prioritize dealing with those issues that will further encourage police officers to remain in the organization. Mr. Speaker, growing up as a child, I recall very well how competitive it was to become a police officer, being a profession of choice. We must endeavor to once again let being a police officer a career of choice. Mr. Speaker, it is for these reasons that I assure all rank and file members and officers of the JCF that the incoming government of the People's National Party will have your back in your chosen career of service to your country, our country. Jamaica needs the best that you can all offer to be a safe, secure, and harmonious country.
Oh, so this is why somebody was texting me. I won't disclose who it was. That Fitzjackson took the side of the police. Why Fitz? Me not lie. Some people really upset with their brother saying no stand up for the citizens of the Jamaican citizens that are victim of the police. I would love for Mr. Fitzjackson to come and address those issues. Or address those why Fitzy, look good, my boss.
Madam Speaker, the recent 30% reduction in murders in 2024
look good.
is a welcome shift. after 8 years of escalating violence under the JLP administration. However, this decline follows a grim reality. Under this JLP administration, regrettably, more Jamaicans have been murdered than under any previous two-term administration. Had the government maintained and strengthened the PNP's pre-2016 strategies, it inherited, less people would have been murdered. Indeed, that would have accelerated the downward trajectory begun under the People's National Party. This decline, while encouraging, is fragile. Jamaica's homicide rate remains among the highest globally, compounded by unchecked financial crimes and mass shootings. The JLP's reliance on state of emergency as a blunt instrument that eroded community trust and damaged livelihoods. That has proved disastrous. Their approach mirrored net fishing, indiscriminately sweeping up innocent young men and children while failing to dismantle criminal networks. There is a better way, Madam Speaker. The PNP has long championed a balanced approach to security, one that pairs enforcement with prevention. The new Commissioner, Dr. Blake's recent endorsement of before 70% of violence validates our stance. This spearfishing strategy, combining intelligence-led operations with community engagement, has driven the 2024 decline. Madam Speaker, the opposition had been pleading for this approach for well over 8 years, and it fell on deaf ears.
Aldine, how you doing?
Because the Prime Minister, the de facto Minister of Security, and supported by the former Commissioner of Police, maintained an exclusive, tough-headed, aggressive pursuit of looking tough, exclusive military approach that have only served to plunge the country into a state of deepened insecurity. So, we commend the present Commissioner Dr. Blake for his leadership and the new approach he has brought to the JCF, one which the Minister made mention of today. His approach aligns with our 2023 proposals, which is court-supervised detention of high-risk suspects, expanding the Jamaica eye surveillance network, and yes, we welcome those increases the Minister spoke of today, and balancing enforcement with social intervention. Mr. Speaker, this model respects constitutional rights while delivering results. Mr. Speaker, the global data supports this approach as the most effective in achieving sustainable security for our country. In this regard, I give this Parliament and my fellow Jamaicans the solemn undertaking that the next PNP government will commit the necessary resources to the JCF and its allied entities to ensure continued and widened success in sustained crime reduction and citizen security. It's not just about reducing crime rates, but also about improving the quality of life and creating conditions where people can feel safe and thrive.
Want to think more that, I fits a law man still, and the PNP a law people them, so them are going to support the police them, and plus every government want to stick on the police side, but they need to address the clear things them we are going with the injustices of people with people pitney in Jamaica, and the clear corruption in the police force. Yeah, the bad apple them make the good apple them look bad, so you can't just not address that. And that, Fitz Jackson, you came out and said this. The rest of the party are championing it, so we have to say this. I understand. So, I really want to know what people think about that in the comment section. Yes.
In the recently concluded budget debate, our finance spokesperson and leader of the opposition set out very clearly some of the strategies.
Oh, no, know me stand already. Me stand with the people, them. Me stand with JFJ. Body worn cameras are needed. And until we get that, all of these killings by the police are under heavy scrutiny. Heavy scrutiny. Alright?
In the recently concluded budget debate, our finance spokesperson and leader of the opposition set out very clearly some of the strategies and programs that the next government we form will be pursuing. Central among them is growing the economy, both in terms of opening new areas of economic activities and expanding existing ones. The increased and sustained safe and secure Jamaica I discussed earlier is but one critical element of our development agenda, not just socially, but also economically. However, these efforts are significantly made more difficult, if not impossible, if corruption or irrefutable and strong perception of corruption remains high. Security cannot flourish without integrity. The Prime Minister himself once declared corruption is a significant retardant to growth. And in preparing for this presentation, Madam Speaker, I refreshed myself on some of the comments that the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, I refreshed myself on some of the comments the Prime Minister made during the debate in the passage of the Integrity Commission Act. And I quote, "There is no denying that whilst we have made significant strides as a politically independent country, we could have achieved much more were it not for corruption in many forms. Revenue leakage due to corrupt practices, misuse of public funds, and the overall perception of pervasive corruption, all of which have served to compromise the flow of investment in our country." And he went further, and I quote, "While we all need to take individual responsibility for our actions and endeavor to be agents of change as we do our part in securing a better Jamaica, the role of the legislature is paramount."
Embarrassing.
And last I quote from the Prime Minister. "Despite the fall on the corruption index, business and consumer confidence is at an all-time high." It's back then, 2017. "Nonetheless, we are acutely aware that corruption has direct links to organized crime, terrorism, and money laundering. This is therefore a serious threat to stability and security. Our national security policy emphasizes the link between crime and corruption. It identifies it as a clear and present danger to our country." Those were from the Prime Minister in the debate of the passage of the Integrity Act. How ironic, then, that this administration now sabotages the very institutions designed to combat corruption.
How ironic indeed. How ironic indeed. Well, Mr. Fitz, it come like him touch upon everything, bro. Touch upon corruption, he touch upon body-worn cameras, he touch upon so many things. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is going on with the internet. It's like somebody has planted a bug in my laptop. Every single time I come on StreamYard, come on OBS, it keep dropping. The people them keep falling off. We can never reach 100 person. I use the something. At this point, more I want a new device because I feel like them plant on bug in my device now. So like conspiracy though. No man, make my channel under attack, man. Make my channel literally under attack at this point. People make me know what they think in the comment section. Because I have it on my phone and I watch it and it's something just a drop. Right? And when me talk now, see there, it's like them a listen to me and then make me think gone up again. Me I get frustrated, brother. Them really frustrating. Because me a flow, but my internet now flow. Literally. Pun intended. Pun intended. Sure. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section here, man. Really a piss me off now, brethren. Anyway. On to the next topic. Where are we? Where are we? Yes, over there. should I go to the... Yeah, I think this is better. I go up on them pages. So, all right. Somebody are trying to get to me. Good helper. Well, let me see if that person wants to talk right now online. Let them know some life. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm live right now. You wish to speak online?
Me the work now, you know, that's why me just take me that time me that wait me that show to back later.
Oh, see, I watch you live right now?
No, me that work.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool.
You understand, you realize and understand. You see the nastiness where them having at the Jamaica Labour Party?
Well, me not really understand. That's why I didn't want you to clarify everything. Because me not really know all our stories there. Me understand what I say? Yeah, so, yeah. So, when
Me
I get
not
a
talk, but
chance.
yeah, when me get a chance, me that because me the
All right.
work, you know.
Yeah,
So,
man. Bless
yeah.
it.
Yeah, man, cool.
Wow. Alright. People may be gonna share up your life for me, huh? I have to call on my brethren them and ask him what me fi do. Because at this point, me don't know why me frames them. You have one thing here, so name kilobytes per second. And them not stay steady. Them just up and down, then way off, and then I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm really getting pissed off right now. It's really pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? Really pissing me off, bro. Oh my god. Take this off on the screen. Alright, so here we go. Here we go. That's all we know. Put out this. Alright, so one of the biggest things that happened yesterday was the Jamaicans for Justice protest. And we're gonna go to some footage and pictures of that.
They are looking at people in the inner city community and calling them criminals. Protest. This is a pro-accountability, pro-human rights protest. We have family members here. We want to identify them for safety. But every time we label people as criminals, you are labeling people among here, mothers and their children as criminals. Every time we label a community as criminals, we are looking at people in the inner city community and calling them criminals. And we need to do some deep introspection in our society. Now, JFJ, we have made it very clear that we have never categorized these killings as extrajudicial. What we are saying in 106 people killed since 2025 is far too many, and it means that we need to put some attention and call for greater scrutiny. Protest. This is a
No, I don't know what is wrong with that stance that she's taking and why the Prime Minister of Jamaica or even the opposition would not be in support of this lady right here and Jamaicans for Justice. Greater accountability should be the call that everybody wants. Aren't they about good governance? So all of a sudden, no, everybody forget. Justice from Romario Sterling. Justice for Tyrone Johnson, Shane Grandison, Ryan Russell. Right? Speedy trials needed. Waiting a decade for trial must end. These are logical stands that they're taking. 155 people unalive 2023. Increase in 2024 to 189, and we already have 106. At the rate we're going to have 300 people unalive by the police at the end of 2025. Over 300. These are real concerns. Look at the pictures. These are very, very genuine concerns.
Stand up for Jamaica. I think that today we try to defend Jamaicans and also police officers. Jamaicans and police officers both need and want an accountable police force. We want to apprehend whatever and whoever is breaking the law in the right way. Do not trespass the border. Do not show the nation that you do something which is not legal and which is not transparent.
If you couldn't hear her, she's saying that the protest is about accountability, and the police force and the citizens and the government should want a police force that's accountable, and whoever the criminals are, whether they're from the JCF, the JDF, or in the government, or their regular citizens, everybody should be held accountable. How about that? That's what she's saying, right? Let's go to the next clip.
I'm an attorney. What's your purpose here today? I'm just telling Jamaican people that the police force was formed in 1865 after they murdered so many of our brothers in St. Thomas. It was called a police force. It comes with violence, it seems, embedded in the force. And recently we have heard that the crime rate is down, but the police killings are up. So when you're looking how many persons have been killed in Jamaica, you have to count the 107 who have been killed by the police since the year has begun. And my view is that persons should be taken before the court. They should not be executed by the police force. Secondly, that body cam.
I'm so distressed. I'm back here 25 years later, 26 years later, and the calls are...
Looking how many persons have been killed in Jamaica, you have to count the 107 who have been killed by the police since the year.
You hear that? This is an attorney, you know. He's an attorney, listen up. Listen to the first part of it again.
I'm an attorney.
The man is an attorney. What the man say? When the police force was built, it was built off of the premise of what is being used for right now. Force. To unalive citizens of Jamaica. I guess we have to reform everything in it. We have to reform everything. We have to change it. New identity. We need the police peace officers. Right? We need the peace officers. The peace officers foundation, or peace officers, I don't know, they need something. But what it is right now, yeah, that's gotta change. Yeah, it's not working out. It is not working out.
the same.
I'm sorry, it's not working.
There are so many of our brothers in St. Thomas. It was called a police force. It comes with violence, it seems, embedded in the force. And recently we have heard that the crime rate is down, but the police killings are up. So when you're looking how many persons have been killed in Jamaica, you have to count the 107 who have been killed by the police since the year has begun. And my view is that persons should be taken before the court. They should not be executed by the police force. Secondly, that body cameras should be mandatory. Why do you need to put a mask on and refuse a camera if what you're doing is lawful? The reason why you don't want to wear a body camera and you're putting on your mask with no numbers is because you are acting like a criminal. Where a man wants to rob a bank, he puts a... I'm an attorney. What's your purpose here today?
I agree with every single thing the attorney said. Every single word. Every single word he said.
And it's really wrong that the police have body-worn cameras sitting down and I'm so distressed. I'm back here 25 years later, 26 years later, and the calls are the same, and it's really wrong that the police have body-worn cameras sitting down and they're not issuing and they're not being used. Body-worn cameras protect the police from allegations of abusing people, and they protect the citizens from abuse by the police. It's way past time. The commissioner and the rest of the society must understand that you cannot fight, cannot break the law to uphold the law. We're way past that time. No to outlaw police, more of accountable policing, public transparency. Time now to stop the chatting and hiding and get on with doing the thing properly in a human rights. I'm so distressed. I'm back here 25 years later, 26 years later, and the calls are the same, and it's really wrong that the police have body-worn cameras sitting down and they're not issuing and they're not being used. Body-worn cameras protect the police from allegations of abusing people, and they protect the citizens from abuse by the police. It's way past time. The commissioner and the rest of the society must understand that you cannot fight, cannot break the law to uphold the law. We're way past that time. No to outlaw police, more of accountable policing, public transparency. Time now to stop the chatting and hiding and get on with doing the thing properly in a human rights. I'm so distressed. I'm back here 25 years later, 26 years later, and the calls are the same, and it's really wrong.
You hear what the lady said? After 26 years, 25 years, there has been no change. Wow.
That the police have body-worn cameras sitting down and they're not issuing and they're not being used. Body-worn cameras protect the police from allegations of abusing people, and they protect the citizens from abuse by the police. It's way past time. The commissioner and the rest of the society must understand that you cannot fight, cannot break the law to uphold the law. We're way past that time. No to outlaw police, more of accountable policing, public transparency. Time now to stop the chatting and hiding and get on with doing the thing properly in a human rights.
Right, that's it there now. You know, some just see one comment a while ago, people. I'm gonna talk about it. Remember the video we do yesterday? See how some more video. Hold on there.
Justice for Nakia Johnson! Justice we say! Justice for Andrew Richards! Justice we say! Justice for Joel Fox! Justice for Joel Fox! Justice for Tevin Riley! Justice we say! Justice for Lancelot Smith! Justice we say! Justice for Mario Sterling! Justice we say! Justice for Sheldon Davis! Justice we say! Justice for Cobb Jones! Justice we say! Justice for Peter Johnson! Justice we say! Justice for Nakia Johnson! Justice we say! Justice we say! Justice we say! Justice for Nakia Johnson!
People, if you don't miss my last live stream, you didn't know if you go watch it. You hear me? I tell you now. 17-year-old shot 5 times in the back, only alive because he played dead. Eh? And the Prime Minister not stand with the people upon this. Eh? The government not stand with the people upon this. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hold them accountable, people. Hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. The last thing I want to go to the show now. Why don't need to go watch my last live stream? I'm going to show you one specific comment. See? I just post it on my, I just post it a while ago, you know. When I post it. Alright, see it now. Look at this person. Yeah, man. I'm going to go up on the Summer Jam screen. Roxy and Lou, check my page. Stop begging and go look work. And I don't know who was begging. I've never begged on this platform. Every single content creator, you advertise and tell people to like the video, share the video. And if you see through them dunce and them don't know how to read and understand and listen and understand and comprehend, that's why they make these stupid ass comments, you know. Your plate have no substance and is misleading. Too, you need to convince persons that the PM support criminals. You either come with evidence or face your page be reported for misleading content. Go ahead and report it. There's no misleading content. I mean, I show you which video I bother them. I show you which live stream I bother them. It's that live stream, yeah? That live stream, yeah, I bother them. This.
See, clean for the JFG. Tired of him, me make my point about him. I want to hear from the J.
This
type of justice on the Prime Minister.
This.
You see how you gonna flip it? You see how you gonna flip it sound?
Listen to this.
Confrontation. Are you guys okay with that? I played that video several times on my platform. The man said that they use the emergency policy. You see the SOEs, the state of emergencies that the police are using. According to the Prime Minister, they use it, right, to deal with criminals that hide under the protection of being a citizen of the country. So in essence, what is the Prime Minister saying? Wagwan Yankee Bless? Is the Prime Minister saying that the citizens, that criminals are not citizens? And I want to know from the Jamaican people, are you okay with the police unaliving criminals because they are criminals? Without there being a shootout, without them drawing a gun, without them drawing nothing, not attacking the police, just lying in bed with their baby mother. And they go on an operation and they take that man, that young man, carry him to the side of the house and put bullet in him and then say it was a confrontation. Are you guys okay with that type of behavior? Because what the Prime Minister is saying here, you know, is that they use those state of emergencies as a way to deal with the criminals who hide under the protection of being a citizen of the country. That is what he's saying. And then now today, when the JFJ is having a powwow to say, you know what, we really need these body-worn cameras. And we are going to protest that body-worn cameras are worn because too many innocent young men is being unalived by the police. Right? If you don't catch them in the act of criminality, sir, they have not been convicted. Listen to me and listen to me clearly. Imagine the Prime Minister, imagine the citizens of this country was to deal with the Prime Minister the way how he's dealing with criminals that hide under the protection of being a citizen. We could say that the Prime Minister is hiding under the office of the Prime Minister and his statutory declaration has not been certified, and we could say that it appears that he's a criminal and he's thieving with money, so we should exact some type of justice on the Prime Minister. You see how you're gonna flip it?
You know, like I said, people don't really listen. These are questions being asked. It appears. Listen to the language. Listen to the language. I just get them upset, you know. I just get the smarty upset, you know. I mean, no, I just get them upset. That comment that I just read a while ago, talk about misleading. Misleading what? Just sit down and hold a blurt notch here. I'm tell you. You feel like, you think so we are eat that around here? You think so we don't know how to articulate yourself? Big up yourself, Splash DJ, Ryan Campbell. Wagwan, bro. What you say? I back the black, or you mean Kenneth Bailey? Yeah. Talk to me nice. Anyway, we don't have a believe about that point there. Them people that move like the Madons, as me say. Oh, I believe that TVJ covered the story as well, you know. And me hear what TVJ have to say. TVJ covered the protest as well. They should have some more.
But before the break, the feedback.
They should have some more footage. Did they? No, they did not. Hey, come on, TVJ. Don't tell me that you guys did not cover the footage. That is not cool, bro. Nah, bro. That is not cool. And you know, there's some footage that I definitely. There was this young girl and she was so irate. She was saying, yo, justice, Ray and you know them way there? She was going in, me not lie, that girl there. Two of them, there was two girls. I think it was on Andre's platform, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, hold on there. Ah, shoot. Let me see. PDTV, yes. PDTV. Because he was live there, no? Yeah, man.
Main thing is,
What do we want?
are you a parliament?
What do we want? When do we want it?
No.
When do we want it?
No.
Yesterday. No. Tomorrow. No. When? No. Public force orders. What do we want? Public force orders. What do we want? Public force orders. And when do we want it?
No.
When do we want it?
No.
Repeat after me. Where are the body worn cameras? Where are the body worn cameras? We want human rights policing. We want human rights policing. Where are the body worn cameras? Where are the body worn cameras? Let's leave our force. Let's retaliate.
Let's lethal force.
Where are the body worn cameras? Where are the body worn cameras? Yeah, but the law, you hold the law.
Can't brought the law, you upload the law.
Where are the body worn cameras? 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 24 kills, no weapons. 24 kills, no weapons. Where are the body worn cameras?
The numbers are growing, the numbers are growing. Yes, my dear. Lilith. Oh, it's family. Lilith.
Yes.
We are at lunch time. Bless you, bless you. Another woman, another student standing with us. Policing. We need all police DNA and less body count. Too much killing. Can't brought the law. Can't brought the law to uphold the law. Where are the body worn cameras?
Where are the body worn cameras? Where are the body worn cameras? 107 dead,
107 dead, 119 days. Here is the mother for the 15-year-old Jamaica. This is the mother for the 15-year-old standing today in solidarity for the abuse that her son. Is your child a disruptive child?
No, sir.
Him have a history of being disrespectful and disruptive in school?
No, sir. My son is up in his schoolwork. So what they're telling me about my son is news to me. My son was placed on principal honor roll.
Your son on the principal honor roll?
My son is a child that is getting good grades in maths, agriculture, science, you name it. So all that they're saying about my son is false news.
So you say your son is on the honor roll at school?
Yes.
And him doing well in him subject?
Yes.
So what they're explaining to you is not the son that you have at home, and it's not the son at the school. And he was walking with some girls going home.
Yes, sir.
How badly bruised was he?
Well, he was hit in the side, two-time on the arm.
Yes.
He was swelled up, bruised. I asked them to take him to the doctor. They refused. They laughed at me. They even said they did not touch him. And the videos that I have shows different.
So they claim they never touch him?
Yes, they said they did not touch him.
So who then never said touch him?
They said that he threw himself on the ground and that's where he get all the injuries.
What?
Because I went to the police station to talk to both police officers.
Mm-hmm.
So here am I today. Today was court. Nothing. So I'm waiting to go back the next 4 days.
So today was court?
Yes.
My. We want human rights policing. So this is the mother for the 15-year-old today, Jamaica. And I'm sure if you look in the crowd, there are many other parents and victims who are here standing for the children who were murdered by the police. And nothing has happened. Them not breaking the law. Police brutality. You want to talk today? Okay. Give me some of the water there. That little laborite woman over there, so she a walker give herself problem. She come with them devious ways. I take picture. Me see her man a walk, I take people picture. May I put my figure on her too? See her there? See how the police are embrace her? She that side of the blue. See she? No. No. See that? The amount of things happening in Jamaica and the police. Look at them. Look there. Look there. I see her right there, so Jamaica. Should they behind the lady right there, so I take people picture. That is what them do, and then going to circulate people picture to say them come a demonstration. That is what them doing. That is what them doing. No. See her there? See her there, Jamaica. Wanna see her through the cell. See her there? May I make you see her watch her walk and get herself trouble. How you doing, my friend? Huh? Sorry about that, man, but you're rich, man. No.
People, see them something there? Wanna see them thing there? People all in that crowd that talk about say, oh yes, we forgot about that lady. This is our important part. When she wanna talk. I could hear what she have to say. Only part thing you missing.
It's in my pocket, so maybe that was everybody's good. We can talk. Hold on. Alright. We're starting. We're here with SSP Lindsay. It's peaceful protest spearheaded by the Jamaicans for Justice. SSP Lindsay, based on what's happening here, what can you tell us? You're here in showing that you are manning this protest, nonetheless, despite the supply.
Alright, so of course, on the occasion, I spoke with Assistant Commissioner Phipps, who is in charge of the overall process here. So far, we have some persons gathered. They are very orderly, very peaceful, as we anticipate they are putting forward.
Why internet they give me a tough time, boy. Internet they give me a tough time.
Their advocacy, and we are here just to ensure that they're able to have their peaceful protest without interference. And so far, things are going as planned. We have a number of police officers here just supporting the law enforcement and the public order aspect. And so far, no challenges.
Anybody else have anything?
Yes, they're saying that the police need protection. They're campaigning for the public. What is your view on that?
So we see, we see they have a number of cards representing different things that they're advocating for. So some of them we're already aware of them. Some of what they're advocating for are things that are very well being implemented in the JCF. So it's a democracy, and as a police force, we respect the different views. We listen to the feedback from persons who advocate, because I know that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, we are the biggest proponent for justice and the protection of persons' rights, etc. So we have a responsibility, and we welcome all the partners and all the voices that we can collectively come together to see a more peaceful Jamaica, a safer Jamaica. So whatever any society can do to ensure that the average citizen in this country feel safe, can move about very safely, then of course we welcome all the views. And we listen.
So is that the camera on your uniform?
It's a microphone, actually.
Okay, so the police isn't against body worn cameras.
Hey, Sassy, I'm telling you, somebody is attacking my page. They keep kicking out people off of my live. I am glad you said it. I'm watching it on my phone and I'm getting kicked off. All right.
What's the timeline for the infrastructure? Because one of the arguments from the commissioner is that there is not enough database. The database infrastructure, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not enough at the moment. So when is the timeline for that to be implemented?
But of course, I know that you have listened to the commissioner on the subject, and he has.
So what is it about my page so much, huh? What is it about my arguments that I'm making so much that it's too logical? My arguments hit harder than anybody else, huh? Why are they attacking my page so much? Threatening to false flag my page for misleading content. I don't put out misleading content.
Given an outline as to where we are in the JCF, I can tell you that work is being done, and work has been doing a lot of work around that, and it continues. But like Commissioner always says, that it's not just having a camera, it's to have the infrastructure to support it. And I think that's what he thinks is a priority, that in order for us to have a system that is robust, both a system that is sustainable and one that will serve the very purpose that we intend for it to do, then it can't be just forward. We have to ensure that we have the right systems in place. And I know that is what he has mentioned in all his communication about the subject. And I know that is exactly what he's doing to ensure that once it's fully rolled out, we have a system that serves the purpose it is intended for.
Thank you so much.
Hey, me not lie, she back up our police them though. She's a good representative. She back up our police them, sir. No joke about that. Well, miss, we can tell you this. Based off the communication of your commissioner of police, he said, I have never seen a protest and police have people and government going against JFJ. Shit, man. I'm telling you, that says it all right there, Wilbert Cameron. That says it all. The fact that the government and the police them is going against the Jamaicans for justice tells you everything that you need to know about this. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. On to the next topic. So we go through the protest, we go through Mr. Jackson. Hold on then, let me see what I want. So alright, so time for the yeah. You know, so me miss one thing, but that's fine. PMP. Yeah, man, me miss something, you know. Yeah, me miss them too. These two things, but I'm gonna fill them in right here. I'm gonna fill them in. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fill them in. This is all about the PMP, this part right here. So I'm just gonna put everything on one big reaction. That me gonna do. Alright, so we can X of this, X of this, X of this. Remember that. X of this. Remember that. X of that. X of that. X of this too. Oh, hold on.
So we need clear timelines, and the Prime Minister is wearing blue. I hope that the blue is also solidarity with the people who are here today, the victims who are here today, saying that my son was killed at the hands of the police state. And I hope the Prime Minister in Parliament today would take this opportunity to say to the public, I'm not choosing sides, but I'm on the side of accountability.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Him don't support the people them, but he must support the police them. Thank you very much, ma'am. Somebody needed to say it. Well, I said it, but other people need to say it and call it for what it is. Anyway, alright, so ladies and gentlemen, you know, we have a lot of things to go over. I ask that you like the video. And guys, donate to the platform and make the haters them mad. The people where I say me a beg, donate to the platform, support the platform if you don't love the content and the substance that the platform is. And I'm not even saying this for my own platform, and I've been on record saying this for all the good platforms them out there. Support the platforms. Put your money where your mouth is. You understand? Hitting the like button, we love it. Sharing it, the live with 20 people, we love it. We appreciate it. Also, there's donation options. Thank you for the few people that donate. And donation doesn't always mean that you give money. Sometimes the Lord lead people to do other things. Like, you know what? There's this equipment that I think, he might need, and the Lord led me to buy it for him or her, whichever platform it is. You get me? Cause them vex, so we are advertising. I'm gonna advertise my donation link more. The Cash App is there, the PayPal is there, and the Zelle is there. So if you want to support the platform, you can use those avenues to do so monetarily. And I encourage that you support the platform and make the haters mad. What make them vex? True people that support good platforms. Support the platform them. What do you mean? Why the hell not? Let's continue. Tada. Face to no blurt not and done. So who them man? Like we hear Prime Minister Jamaica officer, well the next Prime Minister.
The following is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
The PNP patriotic change and economic empowerment, not temporarily designed to win votes.
Visit our website at pnp.org.jm or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
You hear that? Alright.
I would like to welcome the Prime Minister's recent statements acknowledging the urgent need to focus on local agriculture to combat inflation and improve food security. The irony of that very point, now being echoed by the Prime Minister, have long been raised by the opposition and dismissed by the Minister of Agriculture. For years, the opposition has been calling for investment in local food production as a strategy to reduce our import bill, lower inflation, and provide Jamaicans with more nutritious meals. Under the current JLP administration, storage facilities in heavy production belt, irrigation systems not only in agri-parks but in other heavy production areas. The next PNP administration will ensure that more sustainable measures such as utilizing ponds with pond liners, micro dams and rainwater harvesting systems are adopted, as well as investing in technology, research and development, and training. The PNP is also committed to end the practice of using arable lands for any other purpose than agriculture. The opposition remains committed to building a Jamaica where local agriculture is a true engine of national development, not just an afterthought.
Visit our website at pnp.org.jm or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
So there you have it, Dr. Dayton Campbell. You understand? Talking on agriculture. Zine, and housing. Now, the teachers them, Teachers them. Try you see Damon Crawford, you know, say time for the teachers them. Big press conference key, but we are going.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Thank you for joining us today on this important conversation around education and the JTC bill, the Jamaica Teaching Council. What I'd like to start off with is setting the context of the conversation, because we have seen great misinformation in the public and a lack of understanding in the conversation as it relates to why teachers may have a concern and what is the aim of the JTC bill and the aim of the People's National Party as far as education is concerned. We're not against regulation of any kind. What we're against is how the approach has been taken, seeking almost to put at the feet of our teachers the realities of the negatives that we're faced with the outcomes of education. Indeed, in the last report for our CXCs, only 18% of the students who sat the examination would have come out with the 5 subjects including math and English. That is equivalent to a GED in the United States. There would have been no society, no citizen within the United States that would have accepted an 18% GED success rate going forward from the students. The World Bank has indicated that in spite of 17 years of spending, both from government, private sector, and parents, on education, effective learning is about 11.7 years of effective learning. However, many have tried to place those negatives at the feet of our teachers while ignoring the realities of our education and national systems. One of the greatest realities, or one of the greatest contributors to student underperformance, remains unattended to, and that is that of absenteeism. Recently, the government reported a return to pre-COVID levels of absenteeism of 22% absenteeism. The literature suggests that 10% absenteeism is termed chronic absenteeism. At 20% absenteeism, a student is likely to perform an exam as if he didn't attend school. The Jamaica Society celebrated through the Ministry of Education a return to 22% absenteeism, pre-COVID levels. And that is not the worst case, because there are rural areas of 32%, 34% absenteeism, and deep rural areas that are reported as high as 50% absenteeism. No matter the quality of the teacher, such levels of absenteeism would cause for underperformance in education. Additionally, 54% of Jamaican citizens have been reported to have a difficulty in finding food. That was a report by an international agency that 54% has a difficulty in finding food, whether it is a grave difficulty or a slight difficulty. This has affected many of our children who, while attending school, is incapable to have nutritious meals. We have treated this as a binary impact by causing for meals to be given to those who are on path and have no consideration to those who are on the fringe of path or otherwise. Many of our students facing this kind of food discrimination are incapable of learning in an effective way, and not the teacher's capacity to teach. We also have a difficulty in getting the tools for learning. Even today, while we're about 2 weeks from the CXC examinations, there are still schools that have not received their full allotment of rental books that they requested from the government. There are schools that have requested 38 maths books and have received 7 of those 38 maths books that they have requested. There are others that have made requisitions for multiple subject books that they have not received even to this point. And by extension, that too has contributed. Available parent and interested parent has been proven as one of the #1 reasons for underperformance. The Jamaican single parent reality is 47%. The global average is 17%. So the vast majority, almost 50% of Jamaican children, are facing the circumstances of a single parent experience, including the lack of an adult at home for many hours of the day, including limited resources, so to fund the school, nutrition, and other realities, and including the lack of discipline due to the lack of adult intervention on multiple occasions. These are only some of the things that have been ignored in totality, so much so that we believe that a teacher's council is likely to be a panacea for our education system. I put it to you that even to today's date, there has not been a tabling and a debate of the transformation report, for Parliament to have a debate around that transformation report. And in spite of having hired the University of the West Indies Mona Business School to lead the charge as it relates to the research, the recommendation of $21 billion each year for transformation have never been met in the last 3 years. In fact, the suggested budget for transformation this year is about 15 billion less than the recommendation for transformation. It is therefore important for us to recognize that the value of our teachers have consistently been proven by the recruitment from overseas persons. Every year, 4 to 5 of the greatest countries in the world continue to recruit our teachers, even as far as Dubai. We're losing over 1,200 teachers per year because of that capacity, that competence, and that capability. Therefore, the People's National Party believes that the JTC bill should treat our teachers with trust, with understanding, and with support, as versus with the punitive nature that may cause for an increase in migration and for the more negatives than positives as far as it goes. We have carried before you a reality that teachers are at the center of the People's National Party, in its history, in its present, and in its future. And these teachers will be indicating to you some of the concerns that we have and some of the suggestions, not for a regulation, but for a supportive regulation that understands teachers must be trusted. Thank you, and we look forward to having this conversation.
So the main point we want to make is that the bill, for them have, the competency thing, I put the teacher them as a disadvantage. So I say, and well, if they never competent, so much other countries around the world don't want them, we won't have this big brain drain. So they need to fix that. No, tell me what you think about that. See? Next speaker.
I am an owner and an operator of a private institution. And first and foremost, I remembered last year when the minister then, in October, make mention that the Jamaica Independent School Association have been left out of the discussions surrounding education transformation. Independent schools are literally on their own. They provide a very big percentage of training, teaching, and learning in this country. Yet, sometimes not even a curriculum can be given to these independent schools. I would like to find out where in this bill that shows that there's any form of consultation done with these independent schools. I have a big concern in terms of education because we are really preparing teachers and we are not preparing the students as well. There is no form of transformation to deal with the kind of schools that we are having teaching and learning into. We do not have any form of transformation in terms of the syllabus in which we use now in this 21st century to teach our children. I believe this bill is very hasty. I think we need to go back, and I believe the lower house will be able to debate, and I'm waiting on that occasion. I would like to find out where in this bill that speaks to homeschooling. I know that education is wider than just training teachers and registering teachers. And while I was coming here this morning, a teacher said to me, it makes no sense we stay in the classroom because every day something else comes to put more burden on us. We should be encouraging our educators, especially in a period where they are being offered more attractive salaries, more better and suitable accommodations. And therefore, I stand ready to debate this bill in the lower house. Thank you.
Solid argument. Solid argument. Can't go around that, you know, people. Solid argument that. What about homeschooling? How that I go work out? How those persons are gonna get the competency certification? The way how them are go about it. They need for really, yeah, they need for what she said, yeah. They definitely need to slow down. They going too fast. Yep, going way too fast. Lord have mercy.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. I am Ramoni Lewis, the MP candidate for Senate.
Big up, Ramon.
Teacher, I have some concerns as it relates to the risk that teachers will face related to the bureaucratic registration process and the licensing process that the JTC bill is putting forward. First of all, section 35 and 36 that looks at the double approval process. This will increase career risk. I mean, section 35 requires the teachers to apply for registration, and then section 36 requires a teacher to apply for a separate license for teaching. I mean, when I got my teaching license in 2005, I haven't renewed it, and I'm in the university. So we have to begin to understand that if we plan to put our teachers through a lot of processes, then this might deter them from really participating in the process. Section 44, the mandatory license expiry period, this is too short. Currently it's 5 years. We have some recommendations where that is concerned. Section 45, the unrealistic renewal window. Oh, come on, 6 months minimum. 3 months is here, but we need 6 months minimum. We have some recommendations where that is concerned as well. Section 46, the repeated police record requirement for our teachers. Our teachers repeated police record. Come on, we have some recommendations where that is concerned as well. I mean, I don't think the act caters to the needs of our teachers both in the short term and the long term. It does not provide for medical emergencies. It does not provide for maternal or paternity leave. And if there's a family crisis, what will our teachers do? Rural access limitations also. Come on, we have to do better. We understand the situation and we are up for a good bill, but we recommend the following. One, we want to extend the licensing period from the current 5 years to 10 years. 2, we want the JTC to be funded by government subventions and not teachers' licensing or renewal fees. Police records, once, and only if you have reasonable doubt or suspicion that a teacher has participated in some other activity, then you ask for another police record. We want to introduce a 6-month grace period for license renewal instead of the 3 months, and also we want to merge registration and licensing into a single process to reduce duplication and also reduce delay. Come on, the teachers are the foundation of a modern Jamaica. And without them, the country cannot grow and advance to where it ought to be. Let us try our best to focus on modernizing the teaching experience. Let us try to focus on giving the teachers the tools they need in order for them to provide the foundation that the country requires to move forward. My other colleagues are here. You'll hear more from us as
people. You really hear them something here? Where the government are come with me backside. No, sir. No, when I've really stand up a comment section panda one there. May I go through everybody's speech?
Dan?
No, brother.
I'm also a former primary school teacher. I've taught in rural as well as in urban areas. And I don't know if under this bill I would be considered a teacher for what I did at tertiary level, but I've also dabbled there as well. And in addition to that, I have worked in multiple countries supporting education reforms, not too dissimilar from what we are discussing here, teaching councils. And the basic thing about teaching councils is that they're supposed to be developmental. You're supposed to get excited about them as a teacher. So if you are a teacher, last year 1,100 or thereabouts left the Jamaican education system, sought and better remunerated by systems elsewhere, as was mentioned earlier on. And if you were thinking of doing that now, and you heard about the JTC bill, ideally, you would pause and say, let me see how this plays out. And from what you've heard and from what we know from this bill, you would not delay your departure. And I'm going to speak to 5
Embarrassing.
He needs some milk. Heard and from what we know from this bill, you would not delay your departure. And I'm going to speak to 5 areas in which we think the bill does a disservice to teachers and could contribute to teacher migration increasing rather than the developmental work that the council is supposed to support. The first one has to do with the increased bureaucracy, which we think will discourage the retention of teachers. So, as you've heard, under sections 35, 36, and 43 to 46, teachers must go through a 2-stage process to get registered and then to get licensed. And they have to do this every 5 years, right? And they have to submit their police records. They have to do this required CPD, which they must document, and they must reapply for their license, even if they have a perfect record. So the implications of this is that you, as a teacher, overburdened by everything else that's going on, from lesson planning to indiscipline to all the mental health issues that they have to address, must now manage this cycle of paperwork, which you must ensure is properly coordinated and you keep good records. So we think this does a disservice to teachers and will encourage more teachers to leave the profession. The second one has to do with mandatory continuous professional development, CPD. And teachers are required under this bill to do CPD as a condition of their license. But there is no legal guarantee, no provisions in the bill that this CPD, this professional development, will be free, will be easily accessible, or fairly delivered. And so it means that teachers will have to pay out of pocket to meet these requirements, while earning salaries that lag behind what they would have earned if they decide to migrate. So the question then is, why would a teacher stay here and pay this additional amount when they can go elsewhere, be paid more, and probably more importantly, not have to jump through the hoops that this bill is asking them to jump through? And so this is a real concern which we think needs to be addressed.
Help, we key out of the ladder. We need your divine intervention. We're tired of the labor rights. We're tired of the green people. We are so far. We can't take it no more. We need this. We need this. We need it. Help. Help. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength. Is a liberator.
The third one has to do with fear of punishment and instability. So under this bill, teachers face public disciplinary hearings, suspension without pay during investigations, fines up to $1 million for infractions like teaching without a valid license.
What did you say, bro? Come on now, dog.
$1 million.
Come on, man.
What?
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What can go so?
$1 million?
Help, help, help. We key out of the labyrinth.
Need your divine intervention.
Ball out! Whoa! Yo.
No, man,
We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help.
Call it.
Shift the parliament.
Call it.
No salary protection during the appeal process.
No, from COVID, then charge you much money for this and that. The government are come for rob poor people, you know. The Andrew honestly JLP government are come for strip poor people, you know. Come like you man they want to destabilize the whole country. So now this is a runway teacher them. Right? Even more. Is that their plan? You know, sometimes I just like to make it play. I'm gonna like talk sometimes because I ask some very, very critical questions. You know? Because the action of these guys, it is worrisome.
And investigations that can be launched anonymously or on verified complaints. So the risk then is that you'll be punished, you are uncertain about where you are in your profession. So this is not a supportive system, which is what we intend is what a country intends when it implements a teaching council. It is supposed to be developmental, but this seems hostile and punitive. The message seems to be, Big Brother is watching, you're under constant threat, or your job anyway is under constant threat. The fourth risk to teachers has to do with career flexibility. Because as you've heard, the licenses are specific only for certain subjects or to teach certain age groups. And so a teacher qualified to teach multiple subjects in Jamaica may be locked into a single role, while if they were overseas, they'd be free to use all of their skills to practice in multiple areas. And that's not only inefficient, it's demotivating, because as we know, our teachers want to be as flexible, they want to experiment, they want to teach in as many areas as possible. So the fifth and final risk, which I wish to speak to, is that of the cost of compliance, which we think is too high. The costs for fees, for CPD costs, the police records renewals, with these things, teachers may spend tens of thousands of dollars during the license cycle in order to comply. And we know that not only aren't they asked to pay these things by the recruiters are offering free onboarding, free airfare, free housing assistance, free tuition for your children, and better salaries. And so we must seriously ask ourselves, how do these provisions make it attractive for our teachers to remain in Jamaica? And so, as a party, the Teachers Party, we wish to make a couple of recommendations.
Make them know, my general.
The first one has to do with ensuring that we have a package, a retention package, which teachers would find attractive. We think that package should include bonus pay, housing incentives, and tax breaks for long-term service. Secondly, all required CPD for public teachers in the public system should be free and easily accessible, coordinated by the government.
Oh, yeah.
Third, we think it's necessary to streamline the licensing into a single one-off certification with renewal required only if there are serious breaches on the part of the teacher. Our fourth recommendation speaks to eliminating the subject-specific license restrictions, especially for primary schools and for the small schools. Imagine a school with multi-grade teaching. And the fifth and final is to protect teachers from unjust penalties. No anonymous investigation, no loss of pay during appeal, and certainly no over-regulation. So with these things, we think a teacher would pause if they were thinking of migrating. They would find the JTC developmental, and it would cause them to think twice about leaving for other jurisdictions. Thank you.
Yeah,
we know
that makes sense to the people.
Invite Senator Crawford.
Bill. Section 35 2B. fit and proper standard is undefined. Section 35(2)(b), the JTC bill states that the application for registration must be fit and proper. The term fit and proper is not defined anywhere in the bill. There is no objective, list of criteria, no guiding standard, and no measurable tests to assess this requirement. The Jamaica Teaching Council, this gives the Jamaican Teaching Council unchecked discretion. A teacher could be rejected or deregistered based on vague or personal interpretation of what fit and proper means. It creates a lack of transparency and consistency, opening the door to potential bias or discrimination. Competent to teach is a broad subject, broad and subjective. Under Section 36(3)(b), the council may refuse to issue a license if the applicant is not considered competent to teach. The bill does not define what competence includes or excludes. It gives no clear indication of whether competence refers to subject knowledge, pedagogical skills, training, or background assessment outcomes. Teachers can be denied a license or face disciplinary actions without knowing what standard they are being held to. The lack of clarity increases uncertainty for teachers entering or remaining in the profession. Discretion without safeguards undermines due process. What terms like fit and proper or competent to teach are left undefined, they became legal tools for exclusion rather than standards of quality. The absence of clear definition means teachers can be denied registration or licensing without a fair chance to understand or challenge the basis of the decision. Due process is weakening, and trust in the fairness of the system is eroded. Bias, politics, and personal conflicts become legal grounds implications. Without clear limits, these vague terms can be used to exclude otherwise qualified individuals, target teachers with alternative training paths, or be influenced by subjective, non-academic factors. This opens the system to politicize, misuse, and professional injustice. PNP recommendations. Define fit and proper in legislation, using transparent and objective criteria. No serious convictions, including minor frauds or violence. Good standing with previous employers. No active disciplinary findings without resolution. Define competent to teach based on recognized qualifications. Completion of teaching practicums or certification process. Ongoing performance reviewed mechanism. Require the council to issue written reasons when registration or licensing is defined on these grounds. Establish an independent appeal process to review decisions made using subjective or vague criteria. Safeguard fair access by ensuring the use of alternative certification routes to access by merit and performance, not form or affiliation.
What do you think about the recommendation there? Because you gonna say somebody no fit, and then you left what is fit to be interpreted. That means whoever is the judge, them can just move the goalpost, no? So, valid arguments again.
And though it might be a surprise to many, I've taught at all three levels of the education sector: primary, secondary, and council bill we are discussing may prioritize the primary and secondary teachers. It has implications for the sector on a whole, and therefore, as a lecturer at the tertiary level, it is incumbent on me to support this initiative and to lend my voice to the advocacy. Now, the Jamaica Teaching Council bill is framed as a professional regulation. Regulations must embed at their center the principles of fairness, justice, and transparency. The sections I will cite will confirm that the basic concept of natural justice has not been adhered to with this bill. For example, there's no legal support for accused teachers. At sections 50 to 64, the disciplinary process, there's no provision either for legal aid. The bill outlines investigations, hearings, and penalties. Nowhere does it provide legal support or state-sponsored representation for teachers under review. Teachers facing suspension, revocation of their license, or public sanctions must defend themselves at their own expense. What are the implications? A teacher under investigation, even on a false or minor complaint, must choose between paying legal fees or going unrepresented. This disproportionately harms a teacher's reputation. With limited income or access to legal support, that situation is further exacerbated. Then there's the issue of not having the right to face one's accuser. At section 50, subsection 1A, complaints can be made by any person, and the bill does not require disclosure of the complainant's identity in the initial stages. That also suggests that a teacher could be under investigation for some time before being notified. So even those who are able to afford and access legal support will be at an immediate disadvantage as the state of investigation, persons interviewed, and other related steps in a process that is so clothed in darkness could negatively prejudice the teacher. There is no language in the bill that guarantees that the teacher will be informed of who made the complaint or when the complaint is made or allowed to respond before investigation begins. What are the implications? This undermines natural justice. Teachers may be investigated without their knowledge, without knowing the source or the nature of the allegation, or without knowing who is making the allegation. Then there's the issue of the risk of double jeopardy. At section 6(1) A to D, the council may take action against a teacher regardless of the outcomes in other fora. A teacher therefore may be cleared by a court or a school board, but still face the risk of their license being revoked or suspended from the JTC for the exact same issue. The implication of this is that a teacher may face multiple consequences for the same event, even when they have been cleared of the initial accusation. At section 64(3) and section 59 subsection 2, as well as section 61 subsection 4, it makes it clear that the teacher is denied a salary during the appeal process. The bill allows the council to suspend or revoke a teacher's license, and while appeals are being allowed, the decision of the suspension or revocation still stands. Therefore, access to earning has been interrupted. There's no provision for salary continuation during that period, and no clear statement of salaries being restored retroactively with the relevant interest applied after the process has been completed. A teacher may therefore be unable to work or earn while appealing a decision that may later be overturned. This discourages appeals and leads to financial distress, even for innocent teachers. And as my colleagues shared previously, this could negatively impact a teacher's ability beyond this investigation, even if the investigation proves that the teacher was innocent, to continue to enjoy that basic human right of professional reputation. Then there's a matter of the ease with which investigations can be launched. At the relevant section, 50, subsection 1, a complaint from any person, which is the language of the bill, any person, is enough to trigger an investigation. There is no requirement for an initial screening, no test of the veracity of the complaints, and no accountability for false or vexatious complaints. So a teacher remains professionally injured, even if, I guess, at the end, the complainant say, finger mash no ball, member play with the play. The problem is the education of our children, and the professional reputation of our teachers is not a game down a manual road. Then there are the excessive penalties. At section 59, suspension is discussed. Revocation at section 61, and offenses and penalties at section 71. The penalties include suspension or revocation of license, public disclosure of disciplinary outcomes, and fines up to $1.5 million. We find that this is onerous. There are criminal acts across this country's legal system for which public disclosure is not required, nor never actually happens, and therefore it would be an unusual disadvantage to place our teachers in this potential situation. And of course, imprisonment for practicing without a license. What are the implications? The punishments are extreme, especially when there is no tiered approach to distinguish between a minor infraction or serious misconduct, or even whether this was professional misconduct or otherwise. Our recommendations on these matters include: establish a legal defense fund or provide guaranteed state-sponsored legal aid for teachers under investigation. 2, to guarantee the right to face and respond to one's accuser with full disclosure of the allegations, the very basis of natural justice. 3, protect teachers from double jeopardy. No further sanction by the JTC if that individual has been cleared in other lawful or legal processes. 4, to guarantee salary continuation during appeals unless the teacher is convicted or formally found guilty. And 5, to introduce a preliminary screening process to filter out groundless complaints or complaints of a vexatious manner. Finally, establish a proportional penalty system with clear guidelines, options for rehabilitations, and safeguards for fairness. Thank you.
Look at the detail at which Mr. Raymond Price. There's clear flaws in this thing. Yeah, it's a mess, Wilbert. There's clear flaws. Yeah, that's a lot, you know. Everybody have a genuine, logical concern about this. And I love the way how they did it. Because some of these people, we need to know that is a part of the organization. So put them up front. Mark Golin, very good strategy. And they're all teachers in some capacity or have some connection to it. I believe the lady says she's a businesswoman, right? And she shared her concern. So let's hear what this apple of the eye looking lady has to say. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rochelle Essential. I'm an experienced educator with 28 years of experience and also an experienced middle manager. I'll be highlighting today the risks to school management and operational flexibility under the JTC bill. While much of the attention has been focused on individual teachers, we must also address the threat of this bill to pose to school leadership, particularly principals and vice principals, who are responsible for keeping schools functioning daily. The JTC bill, as written, will strip school leadership of key tools they've long used to manage classes, deal with emergencies, and ensure learning continues when the unexpected happens. Firstly, reduced flexibility in assigning substitute teachers. Section 4, subsection 1, as well as section 36, highlights only registered and licensed teachers may legally teach. There are no temporary exemptions or emergency allowances in this bill. And of course, there are implications. A principal cannot ask a retired educator, a trained graduate awaiting paperwork, or a volunteer to step in during an emergency, not even for a single day. Student learning is paused, not because there's no one to teach, but because the law forbids principal to stop-gap solution. Secondly, difficulty filling vacancies in high-need areas. Section 36, subsection 1, and section 34 states, before a teacher can be placed in a school, they must go through registration and licensing, which takes time. There's no mechanism for conditional hiring in areas like STEM, special education, or rural communities. And the implication, of course, even when a principal finds a suitable candidate, students wait weeks or months for licensing clearance. There is also the issue of no timely notification about investigations. Sections 50 to 53. Any person can file a complaint. There is no obligation to notify the principal when an investigation begins, nor to provide progress on updates. Implications. Teachers under investigation may be absent, distracted, or pulled from duties without principals knowing why. Of course, disruption occurs when no chance to plan ahead. School leadership excluded from disciplinary decisions. Section 51 to 60. Suspensions, license conditions, and revocations are handled by the council alone. Principals are not guaranteed consultation or input before decisions are made. And the implication is that key staff can disappear without warning, leaving school unprepared. Overly easy complaint process underestimates school authority. And this is highlighted in section 50, subsection 1. Any individual, including students, parents, or third parties, can trigger an investigation. No verification or filtering is required before actions begin. And the implications? Principals lose control over internal conflict resolution. Even petty disputes lead to formal disruptions of staff duties. There's also the issue of subject-specific licensing reduced in-school flexibility. In-school flexibility. Section 30, subsections 1C, highlights the council may issue license with subject-specific restrictions. That means a teacher may be licensed only to teach math, or only English, or only grade level science. And the implications? Principals cannot reassign teachers across subjects in a pinch. Multi-subject flexibility, especially critical in small or rural school, is legally blocked. In addition, a teacher competent to assist in another subject may not be allowed to, even when students are left without instruction. We, the PNP, recommend 1. Permit school leadership to assign temporary substitutes, including licensed graduates or retired teachers, for short-term emergencies. 2. Create a fast-track approval system for schools facing urgent or persistent shortages. Notify principals immediately when a staff member is under investigation with regular updates. We require JTC to consult school leaders before disciplinary actions take effect. 5. Screen all complaints for validity before triggering disruptions in schools. And 6. Allow broader licensing categories so teachers can be deployed across multiple subjects or grades, especially in multi-role schools. The JTC bill, in its current form, undermines the ability of principals to lead, to respond to challenges, and to deliver consistent instruction. We must protect student learning, and that starts with empowering principals, not tying their hands.
Well said. Who else said, my lady? So, why this, it doesn't really surprise me. This Jamaica Labour Party government over the years has really done a lot. And not just Andrew, but Jamaica Labour Party, period. The story keep banging. The wind is blowing hard. Sorry about that. They do a lot to undermine our education system. And it's unfortunate, but, it's just the truth. It's just the truth.
The candidate for member.
It's your name, the media house you represent.
I believe we're at the stage of Q&A, and my God, the way how Damian Crawford dealt with this was superb. Please pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Pay close attention, all right?
Spoke with us before. Have a question, please state your name, the media house you represent, and if you're online, do the same. Indicate by using the raised hand icon. We'll unmute for you and you pose your question. Alternatively, you could write your question and we could present it to the speaker for you.
Good afternoon, Kalisha Williams, Television Jamaica. My question is in regards to just a response from the government saying that the members who were a part of the committee did not represent well and only attended a few meetings. That's coming from Kathan Gale in terms of the Joint Select Committee, the meeting. If this is true, can you say why the members only attended a few meetings and whether some of these same concerns were raised at that time? Thank you.
I won't even dignify that with a response, because for one, there is a report on the attendance of all the members that were there, and that approach you can review that attendance review. However, even if Senator Gale was correct, they're suggesting that the PMP is the only competent individuals that exist because their presence did not correct these maladies. So if it is that the PMP members was quote unquote absent, for which we know JP members that went to 5 out of 45 meetings, right? So if it is that our absence led to this negative, then it is right that the people consider that we should be the government, because we will make the decisions that are likely to benefit the people. And additionally, there is no justice in his suggestion because the teachers were not absent. This is not a bill, PMP bill. This is a JTC bill. And so therefore what we're proposing are reasonable to be considered because there's risk attached to the teachers who were not invited to be members. They were present in their periods of invite and they made many of these recommendations that were ignored. So an excuse such as that is not one that is sufficient for us to delay the conversation on. So he should speak to the capacity of his persons who were present to not have seen the things that our entire team immediately saw.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
I'm here Stuart from Nationwide.
So he should speak to the who were present to not have seen the things that our entire team immediately saw.
Morning, Senator Crawford. Mahiri Stewart from Nationwide News here. Adding on to what you just said a while ago, are there any groups out there that you think, well, okay, let me rephrase the question. Are there any groups that weren't consulted for this bill that you think if they were, would have led to there not being some of the inconsistencies you've identified?
I think that consulted and considered is two different things. The government seek to believe that if they spoke to you, even without acknowledging your statements, that is consultation. The Jamaica Teachers Association have made many recommendations that were not considered, but it can't be stated that they weren't consulted because they spoke to the person. So if I come to you and ask you, what would you want for dinner? Yet anything you say is not considered, then that is not legitimate to say you were considered, even though you were consulted. So I believe that if the Teachers Association had greater consideration, if the Principals Association had greater consideration, if we were not in a mad haste to say the government is performing before elections. Because, I mean, why is it that this must come true now? What is the reason why we can't review? Because there's precedent. When they made the stupid transportation bill that was asking for a child seat in a taxi, when the public saw the fallacy of that, which we highlighted in the Senate as well, they then made amendments. So there's precedent that now that we have shown them the folly of their ways, that there's reasonable risk to teachers, that there's reasonable probability that it may have unintended consequences. We believe that at this time they should reopen the conversation, and more persons are consuming the bill. Unfortunately, many did not read it before now. Unfortunately, many did not participate before now. But the intent of the bill is for national progress, not for a completion record for the government to say we have done 10 things in the midst of an election.
Good afternoon, Sashana Small from the Gleaner. Well, you kind of went ahead of my question just now in terms of, do you think that the government, we've been talking about this bill for over 2 decades,
yes,
right? Do you think that we were just trying to push it through with haste at this
Yes.
point? And also, just to clarify something that you said earlier, because I've been listening to the conversation about the bill, and the proponents are saying that this bill, it is supposed to push our country forward.
Yes.
We're supposed to have more accountability in the sector. And also it does in fact reflect the realities of our education system. What is your response to that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Do you think the bill reflects the realities of our education system as it stands?
No, definitely not. I believe that the desire to play a game that many children used to enjoy called Who Stole the Cookie from the Cookie Jar. And that game was a game to pass blame to anybody that was left in the game. So the government having failed so dramatically to the point that 13,000 of our children have not been competent in mathematics. So that continuously
Embarrassing.
2% is not passing the
the necessary. That 13,000 of our children have not been competent in mathematics. So that continuously only 18%, which suggests 82%, is not passing the necessary 5 subjects, including math and English. Is seeking to sell a narrative to the uninformed that it is not systematic problems within the education system, but a teacher problem that can be immediately corrected. And that is not true. If it was a teacher problem of competence, then why is Dubai here recruiting our teachers? Why is Canada here, UK here recruiting our teachers? It is a reality of resources being lacking. Any individual can go to a rural school and recognize that we still have is Canada here teacher problem of competence, then why is Dubai here recruiting our teachers? Why is Canada here, UK here recruiting our teachers? It is a reality of resources being lacking. Any individual can go to a rural school and recognize that we still have chalkboards dividing classrooms. Any individual can do that. Any individual can ask a 11th grader if they have received their math books from government on rental. Any individual can recognize that there is no reasonable nutritional profile that is set for what a school lunch should include, even if the government is funding it. The government's contribution to the PATH program lunch is $180 per day. $180. That cannot provide nutrition. There is no commensurate activity to make sure parents are involved, to ensure that fathers in particular remain participatory, that women have the opportunity to fund the cost of education for their children. The government continue to sell the untruthful narrative that you don't have to pay school fees, and the schools that perform the best have parents who are the government therefore contributed that cost to the schools. The school's contribution is $17,000 per child for 190 days. If you should do that mathematics, that ends up to about what? 17,000 divided by 100, that's going to be less than $100. Less than $100. 17,000 divided by 10 is 1,700. Divided by 10 is 170. Divided by 2, that is about $85. So it's about $89 per day. How can $89 per day effectively teach a child? There has been no increase since 2016 to that budget. There's a transformation plan that is on board that was put forward by the government to be the answer. It hasn't been tabled in Parliament, and it hasn't been funded. They don't want us to recognize that the World Bank suggested that education loss needed $4 billion, and they corrected it with $1 billion. They are now trying to blame the teachers for the 11-year-old we see at the stoplight wiping glass on a Monday at 10 a.m. All of those realities are being ignored, and this bill don't correct those realities. That we don't have proper transportation, that if rain is falling, a rural person will not go to school because there's no bus stop. All of those realities are trying to be hidden in this election season by forcing forward, we're fixing education through the JTC bill. We believe that the bill can contribute to a pillar, but there are many other pillars still being ignored, and that is what we want to correct. So we believe it is a haste, in the same way we see with the roads, to suggest activity at this particular point in time.
Yeah. Second question. In light of the...
Not 89. I can teach maths.
Yeah. Next question. In light of the issues that have been raised by everyone standing here so far, would it be safe to say that the PNP is labeling this bill, at least in its current state, as a failure?
No, the PNP is guaranteeing that we will make these changes when we get power. And so what we're seeking to inform our teachers is never forget which party started by teachers. Never forget which party has been committed to education. Never forget which party has moved tertiary access from 6% to 22%. Never forget which parties did free education at all levels. And never forget that these are the things we're putting forward. So what we are saying is we will make these corrections if we should get power. And we're suggesting to our government, if they have any interest in the teachers, that they make those corrections now. Don't delay us to have to do what we have highlighted for them to do at this point in time. So we're not speaking to the bill, we're speaking to the outcomes, and the outcomes are risky to our teachers.
There is a question here online. Is the PNP aware of any updates on the unrest among teachers due to delayed salaries? And would the PNP support protest actions by the teachers if the act is not repealed?
We're not aware of any further information. We know that the government made a commitment to the representatives of the teachers through the JTA, and we beg the teachers not to be ignited to splinter group representation through the JTA. The power of the teachers in our society has been maintained by their willingness to act together. And there are some within the society seeking to splinter that by telling teachers to step away from the JTA that acts as their representative. Would we support protest action? It depends. We won't support disruption of our society. We know that our children are facing CXC now, and we hope that our teachers may delay, but we understand the teachers' desire for their reasonable remuneration, and they can't carry what they are calling a Benz bill and paying teachers with the pro-box salary. So we understand.
Big up Damian Crawford. Big up Damian Crawford. Listen, me, man. What me say? As a teacher himself, remember, Ben's bill, with pro-box salary. Mighty God. And them are trying to divide the teacher. Them teachers on the stay together. Unity is strength. Don't allow the government to separate, Yeah? Don't allow them to do it.
That reality that our teachers are facing. However, because it's paying teachers with the pro-box salary. So we understand that reality that our teachers are facing. However, because it's exam time, we would prefer if our teachers bite this bullet and support the students at this particular point in time. But if they feel that they can't bear it anymore, it is for them to decide how they would act.
You have another question on the floor?
And from Television Jamaica. Just last week I did a story in regards to some schools which are losing students, especially boys. And oftentimes you see them being recruited by gangs. And I also understand in other parishes too, a lot of students are missing from the system, especially boys. They're not returning to school and they end up falling, victim to some of these crimes. What is the opposition's position on this in terms of should you form the next government? How do you ensure that these students stay in school and you're able to track them down?
We have a fulsome plan. I don't know if you will make news time if we should give the fulsome plan, but let us just give some tenets of that. For one,
That is funny, honey.
Next government, how do you ensure that these students stay in school and you're able to track them down?
We have a fulsome plan. I don't know if you will make news time if we should give the fulsome plan, but let us just give some tenets of that. For one, many of our children are finding it difficult through transportation costs and transportation systems. I mentioned my own constituency of Ty Dixon, which is a rural community depending on farming. That reality that these persons are not transitioning from point A to point B cause for many taxis not to find it viable to apply that route. Therefore, the children who have to move from point A to point B, though the adults just go to them farm and go to them land, is having difficulty sometimes having to go through St. Anne to get back to St. Catherine for Charlemont High School. So what we have proposed in the budget through Mark Golding, Julian Robinson and others is that we would give $2,500 per week to needy students who are having difficulty getting to school based on the cost of transportation in these rural spaces. Secondly, we have indicated that all needy students, for which we have budgeted 56% of Jamaican students are in need, will receive a lunch at the value of $400. The government's current cost is $180. And even when the Minister of Finance did her mathematics, she was 1 billion short in her own mathematics. So therefore, the students would find that to be a problem moving forward. So we have said that the 56% will receive a meal of $400 for each day for the 190 days. One of the reasons why our boys are being taken out is because they are the ones who are going to be asked to work, because physical labor is more easy to get for boys because they are more physically disposed, more physically able, and so they are being asked. We're also going to be targeting absenteeism. The Prime Minister, unfortunately, himself misunderstands absenteeism and calls it truancy. Truancy is when the child was sent to school and chose not to go. Absenteeism is when the entire collective, the parent, decided not to send him. There is a major problem with absenteeism for which we would ensure that we target. So we have a full something about student motivation. We have a full something about access to your books. And understand this, the cumulative nature of education, which suggests, for example, if I would be allowed to teach under this bill continuously, I would teach factorization on Tuesday so as to teach quadratic equation on Thursday. quadratic equation is dependent on the understanding of factorization. The student absent on Tuesday become annoyed and perceive incompetence on Thursday because he has no prior information about the Tuesday lesson. So even though the absenteeism is 22%, the cumulative impact will make it seem as if it is 76% because the person haven't, and so therefore that depression with that system has caused for many of our students to remain absent. We have been teaching, we have over 100 years of teaching right here. And that experience is what we would use to make 20 years. And I'm gone 27, 31. Yeah, I've been teaching since a while. 19, I'm gone 25. Enough, I'm gone, but it's many years here. And many levels of teaching. And that is why we are able to understand the nuances of the profession, understand the realities of the children, understand the vagaries facing the parents. And this is how we are going to do. This bill discourages some of our plans. This bill discourages our ability to extend the school day by having persons facilitate homework classes so that this boy don't go home at 2 o'clock without an adult until 7. This bill negates my ability to do that. This bill negates my ability to introduce into the schools persons for social development through Cadet Corps and Girls Guide who are not professional teachers. That's why we're so concerned, because we're confident of victory and we want to be able to do quickly the things that are necessary to do.
Confident of victory. Time come.
We want to say thank you to all of our educators.
Make them know, Damien, make them know people. Oh, that's not bad. That's an hour. I did that in an hour. That's good. That's good. Hour and 6 minutes. That's not bad. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. I'm just gonna cover one last little bonus thing that I just saw a while ago, man. I gotta give salute to the brother Ibrahim Troy, man. Forget about it, man. This dude is different. Forget about it. All right, just forget about it. This man is on a whole nother level. You hear me? On a whole nother level. Alright, so I know it's kind of
a different kekla fish.
Well,
you hear me? A different kekla fish. Them, you know, see how they confuse and torment and a fight against them one another every blasted day. You know, see that the party split right up. It's split right up. So guess what? We want to stay out of them way, and that we have to do because we know them. You know, we know one name.
Pause that one there.
And take back the country.
All right, my dear.
God Almighty up heaven. It is bad. Really, really, really dirty and bad.
It's sad, so she deal with that.
Pause. Alright. What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? I'm not seeing nothing. Alright, I'm still not seeing nothing. So, Oh, perfect. Wonderful. I'm going to do it like this because I need it like this. It's going to be a minute video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's check this out real quick from Ibrahim Troy. Nah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's check this out real quick from Ibrahim Troy. Check this out real quick.
It again. This Captain Ibrahim Traore has done it again, this time with cashews. Burkina Faso just launched a massive cashew processing plant, and it's not your average nutcracker setup. This factory is putting 20,000 people to work. Yes, you heard that right. 20,000 jobs from one plant. While some leaders give speeches, Traore is handing out employment. His message is clear. No more lost generations. No more exporting raw goods for peanuts. Africa is done just consuming. It's time to manufacture, process, and lead. One factory at a time, Traore is turning dreams into assembly lines. More of this, please, and pass the cashews while you're at it. Captain Ibrahim Traore has done it again. This
man is revolutionary. You hear me? 20,000 jobs, bro. 20,000. What has Andrew Holness done anything like this? Anything? He and this man has a lot in common. They do a lot of speeches, a lot of PR. But when it comes on to tangible stuff, you can't see it. Show me. I'll wait. Man, shout out to Ibrahim Choi, man. And shout out to Burkina Faso. April 30, I stand with y'all, man. I'm telling you right now, I stand with that. Real talk. This is ridiculous. I got a prime minister out here. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing that I have the leadership I have out here. Salute to Ibrahim Choi, man. Salute to Burkina Faso. Lord have mercy. We need back real leadership, you know? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get the hell up out of here. This has been a struggle stream of its finest. They have been coming after me like crazy, but I'm out of here, man. Peace. The word is love. And please remember to like and share the video, alright? Get this video up to 1,000 likes, because you know they don't want you to hear the truth, right? And look out for the premieres. They coming at you, you heard? 2 o'clock, 2:30. An hour from now, I got a premiere coming, exclusive.